On Independence Day, 1888, while Prescott was serving its final year as the territorial capital of Arizona, what would eventually become the world's oldest rodeo made its historic debut.
Prescott, 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 come on!
Over 120 years later, Frontier Days Week and the world's oldest rodeo continue to grow as a national draw for competitive cowboys and cowgirls, local beauty queens, and spectators of all ages. The rodeo's popularity is a living testament to the undying allure of the character and traditions rooted in the Old West.
Part of our history ties back to the original rodeo grounds were elsewhere until around 1913, I believe it was, when they moved here. Part of that was we were recognized by people. Tom Mix was one of them. He was very big in the 1913 rodeo. If you look on our website, you see pictures of some of the historic events. We have pictures of one of the parades in the 20s and the old jalopies. In 1926, there's a photo in Charlotte Hall, and we have a copy of it, of a biplane coming into Love Field with actually a stunt person hanging upside down in it.
History lives on within the confines of the hallowed land that was once referred to as the Rodeo Fairgrounds. There have been improvements over the years, but the grandstand and the grounds surrounding rock buildings have retained their vintage 1930s character and are used today for office space and administration. Tough economic times have hit the public and private sectors alike, putting a strain on attendance and sponsorship dollars. Still, ensuring the rodeo's longevity and preserving the cowboy and ranching culture for the enjoyment of future generations remains a priority for the Frontier Days Board.
Our first and foremost criteria and responsibility clearly is the perpetuation of the world's oldest rodeo. But secondly, we feel that we have sort of inherited by default, since no one else is around to do that anymore, we've become the caretakers for the preservation of the cowboy culture. And the cowboy culture is a very, very interesting culture. It's built on family traditions, family values, respect, and it's continued generation to generation. Thirdly, we feel that we become responsible somewhat for preserving the ranching heritage. And cowboys, of course, came from ranches, and rodeo is the only professional sport known today whereby it's actually based on a profession or an industry, which is ranching. So that becomes a very important thing. And then finally, our involvement with the community and involving the community in the rodeo and in all the activities that are ongoing, not just the rodeo itself, but the activities of the town.
In 2007, rumblings that the future of the rodeo was in jeopardy grew to a crescendo. The county owned the property and needed to consolidate its operation. The 38-acre location was considered as a possible expansion site. Fortunately, in a historic deal, the county agreed to transfer ownership of the rodeo grounds to the city, keeping the world's oldest rodeo in Prescott.
There was never going to be the threat of that moving out of Prescott. And when I say Prescott, I'm literally meaning Prescott city limits. It wasn't going to Prescott Valley, it wasn't going to the county, it wasn't going to Seligman. This is the world's oldest rodeo, and it's Prescott's rodeo. So we guaranteed by purchasing those rodeo grounds that rodeo would always be here.
Frontier Days General Manager J.C. Trujillo is no stranger to cowboy culture. His father, Albert, competed as a bareback rider in the rodeo in 1936. Young J.C. grew up to become a world champion in the same event in 1981 and was eventually inducted into the Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame.
I was fortunate enough that I won the Prescott Frontier Days 5 times in the bareback riding, and that's the most anybody has ever won in the history of the Prescott Frontier Days Rodeo. Being pretty lucky at my hometown rodeo, I guess. I later on, in my rodeo career, I qualified for the national finals 12 times. I was runner-up to the world's title, and I won a world's championship in 1981. I was inducted into the Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame in 1994, and that, I guess, was one of the biggest honors next to winning a world's championship, was being inducted into the Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame.
The significance of the rodeo reaches beyond culture into economic stimulus for the entire region. In 2008, it's estimated that 50,000 spectators attended the rodeo throughout Frontier Days week, with the parade attracting over 40,000. Translation: a powerful infusion of income for local business and sales tax dollars for the city's operation.
There's just a number of things that you can do during rodeo week to be part of Prescott. And that impact on us, I wish we could do it every 6 months. So the impact that it does for the city of Prescott is, you could talk millions of dollars, and it'll continue to do that. We hope that it will grow and grow, especially since we're secure with those grounds right now.
An economic impact study was done about 6-7 years ago, and at that time they determined that approximately $11 to $13 million came into the community just during that week alone.
With determined stewardship, the support of hundreds of volunteers, as well as Prescott City government, the world's oldest rodeo will not be riding off into the sunset anytime soon. Performances are already booked into 2012.
You want to have some fun at Prescott Frontier Days? Starting into June, we've got a rodeo, we got a parade, we got kids, we got cowboys, we got a dance, we've got a golf tournament. Anything you want, we got at Prescott Frontier Days. So get on up here.